make a few up right off the bat. If you notice on 9 and 10, they give you a sentence, and then they say, write the inequality and solve. Okay, so we're going to do some examples of those before we try some out of our books so you can see what it looks like. So if I have the sum of a number and 10 is greater than 12. Okay, so it's giving me a sentence. The first thing it's going to ask me to do is write the inequality. And then it's going to tell me to solve. Let's see, let's move it down. So if you remember inequalities, there's always a sign, there's always a number on one side and a number on the other side. So that's how it's set up in your sentence. So if you look at it, I'm going to start taking apart this for you and picking apart the pieces. So the sum of a number and 10, that's going to be in front, is greater than 12. So if you look at this, you can kind of tell how this is going to be set up already. Now I think the biggest thing is we have to figure out what this part means, the sum of a number and 10. What's a word in there that we need to know? Bridget, what's sum mean? What does sum mean, Ella? Adding. Another thing I need to think about, a number. What's a number? Anybody know? Yeah. Something we don't know, right? If it just says a number, it's something we don't know. So we can use X for that number. So if it says the sum of a number and 10, what does that look like? What does that look like, Aiden? Bingo. X plus 10. That's the first part of my inequality. Good job. Now my second part is the sign that I'm going to need. Is greater than. Well, guess what? That's my greater than sign. And then 12. You just wrote an inequality from a sentence. You just wrote an inequality from a sentence. That's the inequality. Now it says solve. You know how to solve. How am I going to solve this? What am I going to do first? What am I going to do first? What do you think? What do you think, Dylan? Minus 10, minus 10. Well, my answer is going to be X is greater than 2. Yep. Yep. Good job. Good work. Good work. Let's try another one. Are you ready? You want to try one by yourself and see if you can do it? You might need your notebook. Remember yesterday when we took all those signs and we had different keywords beside it? You might need that notebook so you can find some of those keywords. So try this one. The sum of 6 and a number is at most 15. The sum of 6 and a number is at most 15. Okay, so the first thing I want you to do is you can make some marks on here. If you want to split it into 3 sections, you can do that. Inequality first. And then once you get that, you need to solve it. Okay? You might have to use your notebook to figure out what at most means. You might have to use your notebook to figure out what at most means, because I know you have it written in there. I had you take notes on that yesterday. Because that's going to help you determine what sign needs to go in there. At most. At most. Do you have it in there? Is it in there? I'm sure. Don't want to throw something at you. I didn't even tell you. Okay, so you maybe did this. The sum of a number and 6 is at most 15. Anybody want to share what your inequality looks like? Anybody want to share, Elena, what your inequality looks like? Okay. Perfect. Is that how yours looks? Okay. Now when you solve, what are you going to get for an answer once you solve? Anybody want to share your answer when you solve it? Bella, you know? N is less than or equal to 9. Yep, it's got to be written like that. Good job. Good job. Okay, I'm going to give you one more, and I want you to try it again. Ready? We're going to use a different weird word in there, so you're going to have to use your notebook again. So, the difference, uh-oh, we're getting even crazier. The difference of a number, okay, that's 2 words. It doesn't look like it, but, oh my goodness. A number and 3 is at least 21. The difference, think of the word difference. What does that mean? Think of what it means. Think of what it means. The difference of a number and 3 is at least 21. If you want to split it up into 3 parts again, please do. This is actually, once you get the hang of it, you can do it. The difference of a number and 3, it's not sum this time. What does difference mean, guys? Subtraction. You're right. Subtraction. Subtraction. The difference of a number and 3 is at least 21. I'm not going to lie. I even have to look up what some of those signs mean. Like, I don't have them memorized off the top of my head, so you're going to have to use your notebook. I don't even have it memorized. Is at least probably greater than or equal to. That's my guess. I think that's the sign. But I don't have these memorized. Anybody want to share what your inequality looks like? Anybody want to share what your inequality looks like? Go ahead, Aiden. Okay. Correct. Nice job. X minus 3, or n minus 3, or d minus 3. What's the matter? And then this is, okay, what about solution? What would your solution be then? What would your solution be, Elena? 24. Good job. Nice work. Okay, so how are we doing? So far, so good? Okay, so in your homework, on that page, on number 9, there's 1. And see if you can do it. Now remember, there's 3 parts. There's a first beginning part, there's a sign part, and then there's your number. See if you can do it. The trickiest part about that is it has 2 of the same words in it. It says, what is it? More, 4 more than a number is more than. Okay, so it's got more than in there twice. But be careful. Remember, there's a first bit. Okay, like this is my first little bit. This is my second little bit, and that's my third little bit. It's the same thing that's set up here. See if you can do it. I don't care if you talk to your buddy about it beside you. Doesn't matter to me. Talk to your buddy. Try it yourself. Number 9 in your book, or in your piece of paper. Try it yourself. Think about what more than looks like. 4 more than a number. Think about what that would look like. Yeah, you can do it on your sheet of paper. Sure. Sure, you can do it right on that paper. 4 more than a number is more than, was it 13? 13? You can write it right on that sheet of paper if you want. You don't have to do it in your notebook. You can write it right in your paper. This is like the wordiest one ever. 4 more than number is more than 13. Like, that's tricky. That's tricky. Yes, more than. If you have 5 more pencils, what'd you do to your pencil bag? You added 5 more to it. Yep.
I didn't know if you added something.
Well, it depends on what the keyword is. So, like, here's 4 more than a number is more than 13. So you got to think about what here. 4 more than a number.
Adding?
So a number would be like x. 4 more than that. Yep. And then figure out your sign. And then figure out your. Yep. Right here. You know where that? Right here. Right there. Okay. You're doing good. You're doing good. Yeah. That's right. Except for you need to have a variable in there. Oh, is that t? You gotta have a plus sign or something in there. Is that your plus sign? You gotta have a variable or something in there. Remember, on one side you have to have a variable. You just can't leave them out. Like, you gotta have something there. So let's talk about it. What does 4 more than a number look like? What does 4 more than a number look like? Haley, what does it look like? 4 more than a number. Yes, it's addition. So a number would be like x So if I have addition, it'd be like x plus 4. What is more than? What sign is more than? You know, what sign? Like greater than, equal to, less than, greater than. So far, this is what we got down. The inequality would be x plus 4 is greater than 13. That's what your inequality should look like. Solving, it should be x is greater than 9. Okay? Try the next one. Try 10. Try 10. It's the same type of thing. This is the easier one, though. This is like what we did in your homework or your notebook. The sum of a number and something else is something, something, something. I can't remember what it is, but the sum of a number and 19 is less than, was it 12? 8.2, my bad. This is a tricky one because this is probably going to turn out to be a negative number. So at least get it set up right. That's all I'm asking. Get it set up right, and we can talk about the answer in a second. At least get it set up right. Just get it set up right. We can talk about the answer because that's going to be the trickiest part. At least get it set up right. And then we'll talk about the answer together if you're not sure. So what does it say? The sum of a number and 19 is at least 8.2. So everybody got it set up? Okay, let's just talk about how to set it up. What do you think? Somebody I haven't heard from yet today. What am I going to do? Somebody I haven't heard from. Sorry, guys. Somebody I haven't heard from. Anybody? Give it a shot? Anybody want to give it a shot? Sorry, Ella. Anybody? Mr. Peters, thank you. What does your inequality look like? You're right. This is how the inequality is set up. The hardest part is finding what the solution is. Because if I minus 19 here, can I minus 19 from there? I can't do that. It's going to be a negative number. So my smartest thing to do would be to switch it around and find out what that negative number is going to be. Let's see, that's going to be 8. So it's going to be j, or whatever letter you use, is greater than or equal to negative 10.8. You probably will not run into one like that again. But as long as you can set it up, like that's my goal, is to get you to set it up. Okay. So is this scary? Some people think story problems are scary, but really that's not too scary. You can just decipher each little part, not too bad. Let's talk about like number 11. Let's talk about number 11 on there. So find it and read it with me. Ready? Number 11 on in your homework, your paper. It says, the soccer team can have no more than 26 players. Okay, so let's just stop and think about the soccer team. How many players can the soccer team have? 26. They can have 26. What else? 25, 24, right. So they cannot go above 26. Okay, so think about, remember that. Write and solve an inequality to determine how many more players can make the team if the coach has already chosen 17 players. Well, let's start kind of with our inequality. What do we know? How many total can they have? 26, right? So that's going to be on one side. That's the total. I need to figure out a sign, but I also need to figure out the other side. I already have 17 players. 17 players. What can this side look like? Does anybody got a guess? Ella? You're right. X plus 17 is something to 26. I want to figure out like how many more I can have on that team. So X plus 17. Now, what's my sign going to be? If I can only have 26 players, I can't go above 26. We know one thing. It's going to be the or equal to sign, right? Because we can have only 26 equal to 26. What sign's going to go here, Dylan? Less than or equal to. You are right, because this side has to be less than or equal to 26. You are correct. So now, let's figure out how many more that this person can take on their team. Well, we're going to minus 17, we're going to minus 17. So it's going to be X is less than or equal to 9. So the coach can have 9 more players or less on that team. Like he can choose 9 more players or less to be on that soccer team. And that part in there that it says like interpretation, do you see how it says interpretation on there? That's the interpretation part. he can pick 9 or less more players for that team. Like writing a sentence out, that would be your interpretation part. Okay? They're kind of tricky, but you have to think to yourself, what's the total? What can I go above? What's my other side going to look like? So let's go to 12. Let's go to 12. 12 is approximately the same thing. 12 is approximately the same thing. It says Lalo, which is an interesting name, has 1,500 minutes per month on his cell phone plan. Write an inequality and solve it to determine how many more, oh my gosh, where am I at? Right? How many more minutes can he use if you already talk for 785 minutes? So what's the total minutes that he has for that plan? Yep, 1,500. That's the total. He can have 1,500 minutes, but he cannot go above. Now, what's my other side going to look like here? He already talked for like 785 minutes, right? I want to know how many more he can talk. Haley. X plus 785, because this is what he already talked. We got to figure out what else he can talk yet. What's my sign going to be here? Brooklyn. Less than or equal to, because this side has to be less than or equal to 1,500. Now, if I minus 785, and I think it's 715 if I do my math correctly. 4, 9, 10, 5, 1, 7. So X would be less than or equal to 715 minutes. What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that answer mean? What does that answer mean? Ella? Yeah. Yes, he has less than or equal to 750 minutes left to talk on that phone. We could say it in text too, like you people don't talk, you text each other, like you have 1,500 texts. You've already texted 12,000 times. How many over are you? I don't know. Okay, should we try another one? Let's try another one of these. I'm going to make it up and you guys write it out. Okay? I have $20 in my pocket. I already spent 8. Write and solve an inequality to determine how much I can spend yet. How much I have left to spend. Okay, so write the inequality and then solve it. If you're not sure, talk with the birdie beside you. Or stop me on the way by. I have 20 bucks in my pocket. I have $8 I spent already. Write and solve an inequality that tells me how much I have left to spend. Remember, your answer has to be in inequality format. You just can't tell me 12. First of all, if you're not sure, figure out how much total I have. That's one side. Your other side is what else I got going on. Using your homework today and your notebook will help you get through what you have to do for tonight's homework. Okay. Yeah. Yes. You bet we are. Maybe tomorrow will be the last day. I'm not sure. We'll start probably new on Monday. For religion. We'll start a new chapter on Monday. Okay, so anybody want to share their inequality with me? Anybody want to share their inequality? What does it look like on your paper, Mr. Peters? Q. You always pick the best letters. Q plus 8. Right. Or X. Okay. You see what happened? I'm looking to figure out what I have left. Now what am I going to do? I'm going to So subtract 8. Q is less than or equal to 12. What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean, Ella? Yep, so I have $11 I can spend, $10 I can spend, $9 I can spend. You're right. So what are we thinking? We doing okay? Can we try this for tomorrow? Can we try to see how it works? Try it.